就让祝福的星光点亮芬芳的明日。
Hey everyone, it's Kay. Welcome to my complete guide for High Love Elf, Alicia's new battlesuit. Alicia is a Stardust type S rank, releasing in version 8.5. She is under the Astral Ring specialization Grail of Infinitude and uses the bow. In this video, I will be going through her kit, suitable team compositions, rotations, equipment, and more. Starting off, let's take a look at her mechanics. Alicia's ult has an initial cost of 100 SP, firing an arrow at enemies and dealing ice damage. Holding ult causes her to consume additional SP and fire up to 5 arrows at a maximum cost of 150 SP. When using her weapon skill, Alicia summons the Love Blossom, which deals damage to enemies upon entering the field and immobilizes them for up to 2.5 seconds. While the Love Blossom is present, casting ult will fire it at the Love Blossom and trigger Ever-Blooming Garden, which provides various effects including Rhyme Trunk application, damage to enemies, and enhancements to her basic attacks. Alicia's basic attack string and QTE can trigger Planting Love's Blessings, which restore additional SP similar to Planar Armament's Drifting Edge. This helps her immensely by allowing her to cast fully charged ults regularly. Alicia is protected by the Astral Ring specialization Grail of Infinitude. Like other Grail of Infinitude units, she makes use of a shared SP pool to cast enhanced ults and trigger buffs through large SP consumption. In Stellar Outburst, Alicia's ult cost increases to 200 and can be fully charged to shoot 7 arrows at a cost of 1200 SP. If her SP is insufficient, she can continue to consume SP into negative values until she is 1000 SP in depth. If Alicia's SP is lower than 200, she will be completely unable to cast the ult. When Alicia enters Stellar Outburst, she expands a field called Love's Expanse. This field starts in the early spring state, and can be leveled up to the warm spring and lush spring state. Bringing Love's Expanse up to certain levels activates certain buffs. In casting weapon skill in Stellar Outburst, it can be chained into Heart's First Bloom, Alicia's combo attack. Heart's First Bloom immobilizes enemies for up to 2.5 seconds and causes Love Blossom to bloom. When her ult hits the Love Blossom in bloom, it triggers an attack from Love Expanse called In Full Bloom, which levels it up once if it isn't already in the lush spring state. When Love Expanse is in the lush spring state, or after Alicia casts an ult with 7 arrows, she can perform the Link ultimate Love's Cosmic Embrace, immediately ending Stellar Outburst and refunding a portion of the remaining duration as Astral Ring intensity. As a Stardust type Valkyrie, Alicia also has unique skills that allow her to counter their mechanics. The most noticeable one is her ability to transform Stardust Remnants into Crystallized Wishes. While Crystallized Wishes are visually distinct from Stardust Remnants, they essentially function the same, with the only difference being that the damage they deal to the max HP of Stardust enemies increases by 5%. Detonating a Stardust enemy's critical value also triggers Stardust Deconstruction, making it drop 2 additional wishes. Moreover, when Alicia's fully charged ult hits a Stardust enemy, it immediately detonates its critical value once. Finally, if a Stardust enemy no longer has critical values, its consolidated form, where it takes less damage, lasts 10 seconds shorter. Regarding her support capabilities, Alicia has 3 Astral Ring related tags. The first is Symbiosis, allowing her to build up Shining Trace for Valkyries under Grail of Infinitude. The second is Domain Resonance, which lets her support World Star Valkyries by triggering resonance attacks. The final tag is Harmonized Shadow Star, giving her the ability to turn into a phantom and perform Shadow Star attacks to support Valkyries under the Wheel of Destiny. Moving on to Alicia's gear, let's first take a look at her weapon, Pure Love's Whisper Heart's Wish. It has strong personal buffs and decent team-wide buffs, as well as large SP generation on her weapon skill if she's below 150 SP, allowing her to immediately cast her fully charged ult. All the buffs that her weapon provides means that missing out on it will make her suffer a sizable loss in both raw damage and DPS, so I highly recommend pulling for it if you plan to get her. Like all Part 2 weapons, Pure Love's Whisper comes with a synergy skill. It has a decent independent multiplier that buffs the Valkyrie on the field, making it useful in both DPS and support scenarios. It also has a secondary effect giving Alicia an additional independent multiplier, which is nice for her personal damage. This is the damage difference between all 3 synergy levels of the weapon. There isn't really a big enough difference to warrant pulling multiple copies unless you're a whale, especially since the synergy skill doesn't provide any utility like SP or cooldown reduction, so I strongly recommend saving for future releases instead. Stigmata-wise, there aren't really many options to consider other than her signature set. She's very reliant on the attire set since a lot of its buffs are locked behind the 3-piece bonus. Fortunately, it won't be difficult to complete due to the entire set being craftable, and it'll be more than likely that players will have pulled at least 1 or 2 pieces while going for her weapon. As a Grail of Infinitude unit, Alicia relies on teammates with a Symbiosis tag to fully support her. She's usually paired with Fate-Defying Dragon and Fiery Wishing Star, though her share of Human Eco is a good substitute that can perform better on non-Stardust type bosses like Helmaru. While using Omniscient Star Valkyries without the Symbiosis tag as supports won't immediately break team-wide damage, it's still heavily advised to use 2 Symbiosis supports if they are available, due to their easy Shining Trace and SP generation, as well as smoother rotations. Alicia can also appear in Worldstar and Wheel of Destiny teams as a support, though it's unlikely that this will happen often due to the lack of boss cycles for these specializations. As for Astral Ops, some recommended options are Chunxue and Dreamseeker. Elf Alicia is also an option, but isn't worth acquiring anymore if you still don't have her. With that out of the way, let's take a look at how to play Alicia. I'll be going through the rotations of the teams I've mentioned earlier, explaining how it works before following up with a video example. Keep in mind that these rotations are simply suggestions, and will vary differently depending on the boss the team is facing. Alicia's DPS rotation is relatively straightforward, summoning Love Blossoms and casting ult to level up her field. Both Fiery Wishing Star and Fate-Defying Dragons give their weapon skills here to save time as they don't deal that much damage. In Assuring Charging, Alicia mostly alternates between casting her ult and doing basic attacks to gain SP, while also keeping Ever-Blooming Garden active for her weapon skill. Keep in mind that this rotation was carried out with Chunxue's Astral Intensity Refund, so an extension might be required if you're using a different Astral ult. When playing the role of a Worldstar support, Alicia simply needs to cast her ult to activate her buffs. Instead of ult bursts, she can cast her Link ultimate after performing her resonance attacks to deal additional damage. Similar to her role in Worldstar, Alicia just needs to cast out and leave. Just like most Wheel of Destiny supports, she doesn't spend much time on field at all. From my testing, Alicia is a strong unit, excelling especially against Stardust type bosses. However, her strength diminishes when fighting enemies of other types, and it's unlikely she'll be taking any ice bosses not meant for her. Both competitive and casual players will definitely benefit from pulling her, though her value may diminish if you lack suitable supports. With the lack of new patches being extended, there's now a lot more time to save for future releases, which makes pulling Alicia much more worthwhile, especially with anniversary rewards coming with her release. Of course, I don't think anyone should feel forced to pull for her, but if you do, she'll definitely be a useful addition to your roster. That's it for my Alicia guide. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.